All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. I see we got some students still coming into the webinar. But in the meantime, I want to just say welcome. Welcome to our second Global Gopher virtual experience. We're so excited to see students from all over the world register for today's webinar and joining us today. So thank you so much for being here. First of all, allow me to say congratulations on your admissions to the University of Minnesota Twin Cities. I hope you are as proud of your achievements as we are. I also see some of you have already confirmed your enrollment, so we can't wait to welcome you in the fall. We have a lot of great information to cover today. We really want to show you how you can make the most out of your University of Minnesota Twin Cities experience. We have a lot of great guest speakers from various departments across campus here to really showcase some of the great things that you can do as a student here. So let's go ahead and get started. I want to start by introducing you to the international admissions team first. I can get us started. My name is Lorenzo Wilcox. I'm one of the assistant directors for international recruitment. And I'll go ahead and send it over to Dane. Dane, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi everybody. Good evening. From Shanghai, China, where I am today, calling in. I'm Director of International Recruitment and really excited to be able to connect with you here virtually today. Yeah, and for the rest of the team, if you would like, you can go ahead and unmute and share your screen if you want, or I mean, share your video if you want. We've also got Susan Mertz here today. You want to say hi?
I can. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Susan Mertz, and I am one of the Assistant Directors of International Recruitment here at the University of Minnesota as well. Just wanted to pop in to say a quick thank you so much for coming, and we're so excited that you're here. I'll go ahead and hand it off to Kauru to wrap us up.
All right. Hello, everyone, whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening, where you are. I'm so glad you're here. My name is Kaurunan. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the associate director at the Office of Admissions. I'm super excited to be here, and our team can't wait to see you on campus this fall. And Maria, you're next.
Hi everybody, my name is Maria For. I am the Senior Coordinator of International Admissions and I'm super excited to have you here. Like I said, it's such a pleasure to have you all here and I'm here to answer any questions here in the background. So have a good one.
Yeah, thank you so much. We have a great team here in the admissions office that's meeting with you around the world and also connecting with you. We're also going to be joined, and we'll have folks available to answer your questions in the Q&A, as well as present some information from our partners in the International Students and Scholar Services office. This is one of the most important offices that you'll have as you work with as a future gopher, both to help you stay in status, but then also to organize some really great experiences and opportunities to engage that you're going to hear about in just a little bit. But I wanted to also share that this is our partner, and these Global Gopher workshops are really part of a long handoff between admissions and into the very capable and helpful hands of International Student and Scholar Services. We can go to the next slide. So, as before I turn it back over to Lorenzo, just know that you are part of a very broad, very deep, incredibly global Gopher community. We have over 5,400 international students from 140 countries at the University of Minnesota already, and you're going to add to that incredible depth of experience and knowledge and perspective. We also have so many alumni, excuse me, alumni around the world that are ready to connect with you as well. And with that, I'll pass it back to Lorenzo. Thanks.
All right. Thank you so much, Dane. And yeah, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. We really want to share with you a lot of great information that we hope you'll find helpful. We want to kind of show you what you can accomplish as a student here at the University of Minnesota, Twin Cities. And so we're going to have speakers from various departments across campus. We want to focus a little bit on what your career resources might be, what those internship pathways could be as well. We want to talk a little bit about undergraduate research opportunities. Of course, we are a tier one research university, so we want to highlight how you could get involved with that as a student. And then we want to show you a little bit about what your student life might look like here, when you join us. So I'll go ahead and pass it on to our colleague Jane from the Career and Internship Opportunities Department. So Jane, over to you.
Thank you, and a big welcome to everyone joining us. We are so excited about your interest in University of Minnesota, and we know with making this choice that many of you might be thinking, what are potential career experiences that I could get as a student at university, and maybe what happens after you graduate. First, we definitely want you to enjoy all the years of being at university, but I know it is probably in the back of your mind somewhere, like what happens after I graduate. We know that's really important to our students and their families. So I'm really excited to be here to talk about the career services offered by the University of Minnesota and what kinds of other experiences students can get to build the really important career skills needed to get internships or jobs after graduation or to join a graduate program. So we can go ahead to the next slide. Even more exciting, I'm thrilled to be here with two students who I've been able to work closely with. So we'll all do a really quick introduction and then you'll hear more of their stories in a minute. So Aishwarya, do you want to unmute? And we'll
Hi
go in
everyone.
order on the slide.
Hi everyone. I'm Aishwarya. I'm a senior in IT infrastructure on data science track at the UMN, graduating in less than 2 months. I'm really glad to be here and excited to share my experience.
Thank you. And like I said, also, I'm Jane. I'm a staff member at University of Minnesota Twin Cities, and my role is specifically to support undergraduate international students' career development. This is a really unique offering that our university has, and not all universities have specific support like this. And I feel very fortunate to be able to do this work. I also graduated from UMN and had an amazing experience in College of Liberal Arts and College of Education and Human Development. I will pass it now to Jen for an introduction too.
Hi guys, my name is Jen. I'm a computer science student from CLA. Really honored to be here today. I'll graduate in fall 2026. Yeah.
Thank you, Jen. And like I said, we're going to hear more from Aishwarya and Jen in just a moment. But to start, I think it's important to consider before entering into university, what does a career mean to you? And that doesn't mean that you need to have like the one right answer at this moment. It will definitely change, and that's okay. That's a good thing. So think about, do you have any plan for that? Your future career? What are your dreams? What are your hopes? And go ahead and keep clicking. It's okay. You might want career experience in the US. You might want career experience outside of the US, maybe in your home country or another country. You might want to take a leap to a totally different country that you've never been to before after you finish your university degree, or you might be interested in graduate or professional school. Having that idea in mind when you start your university journey will help you to make some choices of what to get involved with, who to connect with, what kinds of conversations to have with your faculty or staff members, like the people on this call. How can you get the support and help you need to reach that career dream? And we definitely have it all here at the university. We can go to the next slide. So, career services are units on campus that are based in your colleges that have really talented and trained staff to help support you on your career journey. So, you might see on the images here some different office buildings of each of the colleges and where their career offices are located, whereabouts in that area. So you definitely have the support, and it is located through your college. So it's very specific to your major, your industry interests, and that's how we can best help you to reach your career goals. We can go to the next slide. So, what does career services do? It might be a new idea to many people listening here on this call that you have an office or staff member just to support your career. So, some of these things that we do, we have activities and guides to help you figure out what career you might be interested in. You might have 3 or 5 or more different interests, so we can help you figure out maybe you should start by exploring this area. We also have resources, information, and tools that are needed to secure internships and jobs. So we have, for example, special software of job platforms like Handshake, where you can search thousands of internships, jobs, career fairs, and events. We can help you even explore majors if you're between this major and that major, which will help you to reach your career goals the most. We help you identify your skills and strengths and how to talk about them on things like resumes, cover letters, and we even do practice interviews and have additional technology to help you do virtual practice interviews as well. And for people who know that they might want to go ahead on to graduate or professional school, we can help with exploring those pathways and applications for those programs as well. We can go to the next slide. So now we're going to hear from Aishwarya and Jen. I'm going to pass the mic to Aishwarya, and then when you're done, Aishwarya, we can pass it on to Jen.
Thank you so much, Jane. Hi, everyone. I'm Aishwarya, and I'm an IT infrastructure major, and I'm on the data science track at the UMN. So why did I pick UMN? Honestly, it came down to the strong STEM programs. I got admitted for computer science, and knowing UMN had one of the top CS programs was a very big reason why I chose it. Before deciding, I did do my own research. I reached out to current students. I watched a lot of videos and tried to understand what experience here would actually be like. I also really like the campus culture. It's a really beautiful campus. And as an international student, even something like experiencing all 4 seasons was something I was very excited about. Another thing I appreciated was the flexibility in the majors, which is how I eventually found my interest in data science. But honestly, I was very scared at first. I was stepping into a new country without anyone familiar. I didn't really know how things would work. But what changed that for me was the people and the opportunities here, especially as an international student. There are so many resources, advisors, career services, and international student support that actually guide you and help you figure out step by step. One big part of my experience was student groups. I was part of the Society of Women Engineers Team Tech, where I worked on a project with John Deere, and we even visited their site in Iowa. That was a really cool experience. I was also involved with the Model UN on the PR and advocacy team, where I helped organize a lot of events, including my favorite one, the gala event, where we invited speakers, and it was really cool. I've also volunteered at other campus events, which helped me meet people and connect with others who had very similar interests. Another big part of my journey has been working on campus. I've had multiple roles since my freshman year, and each one pushed me to try something new and say yes to things I normally wouldn't have. Right now, I work as an intern with International Career Services under my supervisor, Jane. I was also part of the CSC Grad Talk program last summer, which led to my current role as an undergrad TA for Grad 5105 and 5102, where I work with graduate students on their teaching and communication. It's also a very fun job. I've also worked as a TA for a liberal education class where I've led discussions when worked closely with the professor and also a very diverse group of students. The professor really valued our feedback and even made changes to the course based on it. And being both a student and a TA gave me a perspective from both sides and helped me understand the effort that goes into running a very large class. Overall, I've gone from being someone who was really shy and unsure to someone who feels a lot more confident and independent. I've definitely had ups and downs, but I've had professors, advisors, and peers who have supported me and helped me figure out things along the way. This is just a small part of what human has to offer, but based on my experience, I can say it's been really impactful. And I hope you all enjoy your time here as much as I have. Thank you.
Hi everyone, let me introduce myself again. My name is Zhen Zhuang, and I'm an international transfer student here in University of Minnesota. I came to here in 2024 from China. Currently, I'm a senior student majoring in computer science in CLA. It's my pleasure to meet you all here today, share a bit about my journey. So for me, I have a lot of campus involvement. I would say one of the best thing about UMN is a vibrant student community here. I've been well, like very active in those student groups, which help me grow my leadership, like have a strong networking skill here. For example, I'm being part of the UMN's AI club as the vice president, and also being the outreacher at blockchain club. Those experience allow me to connect it with more like-minded peers and the industry professionals, which is really good connection, the helping me to building my career. And also like when it talks to about career development in UMN, like they have a bunch of resources like ISSIs and the career service team. They really can help me a lot. Help like either like the student here or international students. They can navigate everything for you, like from writing resume, how to find an internship, how to do an interview, like all of that. That's really, really helpful. And then I want to talk something about like some event I attended. Like for the slides, the first picture on the left side, it is a panelist event I hosted for our AI club. We talked about AI ethics. I invited a bunch of industry professionals. And the second here is a picture me and my previous company. We just hang out, we just play top. We just play the golfer here. It's pretty chill. And for the third picture on the right side, it is just the day before Year's Day. I come back from New York City. We attend a blockchain conference in Fordham University. I met a lot of pretty incredible peers here. And just yesterday, I joined a Minnesota Entrepreneur Kickoff Conference. Also, like a bunch of people with same entrepreneur mindset. Those are pretty good example of the opportunity you can find here, whether it is local conference or national events. UMN just provide the platform for you to go out there and show what you do. So at the end, if I could give you one piece of advice, it will be don't be afraid to reach out. Whether it is talking with a professor, join the club, or visiting career service in your first year, those resources are just right here. You just need to take the first step. Yeah, so I'm really happy to answer our questions later in this session. UMN has a great place for me to cruise, and I hope to see you all on campus soon and be a happy golfer. Thank you, guys.
Oh, thank you so much, Aishwarya and Jen, for sharing your amazing career stories. We're just going to share a couple tips at the end of our presentation here, you can tell from Aishwarya and Jen's stories that if you start exploring early, you will get some amazing experiences and outcomes. So like Jen was just saying, like, don't be afraid to talk to people because you never know what opportunities might open from there, like attending really amazing conferences in New York, where Jen just came back from. And it's important to build experience and make connections to reach your career goals. I think from both of their stories too, you can do this in fun ways. So it doesn't have to be too stressful, but just being comfortable in introducing yourself and talking to new people and trying out new experiences brings forth really outstanding outcomes and moments for you in your student experience. And we also hope that you will use career services to increase your career development success. At this point, you can visit our website to get familiar with resources and opportunities we have there. So I definitely recommend that you check out career.umn.edu. And now I'm excited to pass it on to hear about even more opportunities that can help you build career skills at UMN. So I'll pass it back to Lorenzo.
Thank you so much, Jane, and thank you everyone for that great information. We now want to talk a little bit about undergraduate research opportunities. So I'll go ahead and pass it over to Joshua, I believe, from the Office of Undergraduate Research to share a little bit about what you can do in research here at the University of Minnesota.
That'd be great. Thanks so much for the introduction. I think there's one more slide. There we go. A quick introduction about me. I'm a faculty member in the Department of Earth and Environmental Sciences, and I've been here since about 2007. I'm trained officially as a geologist. I was born overseas in Thailand. I grew up in Southeastern Asia and France. And so I can say from firsthand experience that the Twin Cities area and the University of Minnesota in particular is a very warm, welcoming, and very supportive place to live and to do science in general. The other hat that I'm wearing, though, today is that I'm the director of undergraduate research for the entire University of Minnesota system. And so I want to talk to you about some of the opportunities that we have here across campus for undergraduates to get involved in the research that makes the University of Minnesota so strong. There's numerous ways for undergraduates to get involved in research right from the first year that they're arriving on campus. There are programs at the departmental level, at the collegiate level, and across the entire university level as well. And I'm going to be able to talk to you a little bit about some of those sort of university level undergraduate research opportunities at the University of Minnesota. So our flagship program is called the Undergraduate Research Opportunities Program, or UROP. And this is a program that allows students to apply to do their own independent research under the supervision of a faculty member or a graduate student or a postdoc. It involves, the hardest thing about doing this program is you have to work up the nerve, just as Jen was saying, to reach out and to talk to a faculty member or a graduate student or a postdoc to ask if there might be room for you to participate and contribute to the research that they are doing. Once you get through that hurdle and you start talking about the ways that you might contribute, you just need to write up a small 1 to 3 page proposal and submit it through our office. Those proposals get evaluated and ranked. And if you are selected, then you can receive financial support to actually do around 120 hours of research per semester. You also get a small stipend for consumables as well to support your project too. This is our sort of flagship program. We are typically awarding around 600 of these UROP awards per year. It's a very successful kind of program in general. For students who are taking a semester abroad, if you're going back to your home country or if you're going to a new country, if you want to try and get research experience there with some of the faculty members at the school you're visiting, we can actually also give you a UROP to do research while you are international as well. Faculty members here on campus can apply for seed grants to jumpstart their own research in different directions. This is called the Grants and Aid Program. And any faculty member that is awarded one of these programs receives funding for 2 UROP students to help propel that research forward as well. And so it pays to talk to your faculty members about the research that they're doing to look for those kinds of opportunities. Finally, there's a new program that we've started called RISE, or Researcher Initiated Student Employment. And this program is meant to help students get paid directly rather than through the student financial aid package that they may have. This is a program that's just getting off the ground now, and it requires faculty or graduate students or postdocs to specifically request funding for undergraduate researchers. So all of these programs are fantastic. Most of them have a requirement that you present your research at the end. That's part of the overall research arc that we're trying to sort of advertise to students and to help them grow. We have multiple opportunities for students to present their research at student research symposia in the spring and fall, or if you're working over the summer as a student research intern, you can present at the Summer Undergraduate Research Expo. For those of you who don't like presenting your research in front of a lot of people, maybe you're shy, you can actually publish your research in the Minnesota Undergraduate Research Academic Journal. I've been talking a lot about research, and it may be easy to think that I'm just referring to STEM fields. I really want to assure everybody that research and creative scholarship can occur in all disciplines. It's not just STEM fields. We fund a lot of research that happens in the liberal arts and in the humanities. And so no matter what your interests are, there are definitely ways for you to get involved here on campus. If any of you have questions about how to get involved and you want help identifying faculty members that may be open to working with you, please reach out to the email that's shown in the bottom right of the blue box there. And if you have questions or you want to learn more about any of these programs, please go to our website for the Office of Undergraduate Research that is shown there. Thanks very much. I'm going to hand back to Lorenzo right now.
All right, thank you so much, Joshua, for that information. Um, and now let's switch gears a little bit. We want to show you a little bit as to how you can get involved here on campus through the many engagement opportunities that we have. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to our colleague Ben to get us started on this topic. So Ben, over to you.
Thanks, Lorenzo. Hi, everyone. My name is Ben Koch. I use pronouns like he and him. And my job title here at the university is the Director of Belonging and Enrichment within the College of Science and Engineering, which is just a fancy way of saying that I work with students here on campus and helping connect them to opportunities and resources that really allow them to have a very full collegiate experience. I'll be honest, a lot of what was said by Jane and our students and Professor Feinberg covers a lot of that information as well. So I have a few little extra pieces, but again, they were wonderful resources kind of highlighting some of these opportunities that you can use to get involved on our campus here. The other piece that I'll say is that while I am within our College of Science and Engineering, the information that I'm about to share is relevant across the board. It does resonate with our College of Liberal Arts, our College of Biological Sciences, our College of Education and Human Development, so on and so forth. So when we talk about student engagement here on our campus, especially within CSE, we talk about it as an opportunity to be very intentional with your time and to really help your growth during these 4 years. So we encourage students to think about student engagement as extending your boundaries and meeting new people. You all are doing a great job of that, coming to the United States, coming to Minnesota, immersing yourself here in the culture that our university provides. We also think about student engagement as gaining valuable co-curricular experience or skills outside of the classroom that maybe employers may seek if you're thinking about a graduate school program or a professional school program, really expanding those boundaries and gaining wonderful skills that help you build your resume or your CV to really be the best student and the best professional that you can be. And then finally, we also want you to have fun. This is a unique experience here at the University of Minnesota in the United States to really explore, the culture here, to have fun, to experience what we call a Big Ten university. Big Ten refers to a collection of schools here in now really across the United States that provide wonderful academic experiences, but also wonderful cultural and co-curricular experiences as well. So next slide, please. So one reason that we mentioned that we talk about these things, and Jane and her students did a very fantastic job of this, is thinking about what are some of the skills that employers or maybe graduate schools or professional schools may be looking for when you graduate with your undergraduate degree. Things that CSE employers, College of Science and Engineering employers recognize are the ability to work on a team, communication, critical thinking, problem solving, and adaptability. You have a lot of those opportunities through your coursework in the classroom, but really what sets you apart from your classmates and really gives you a leg up is going to be that student engagement, those opportunities that you take on outside of the classroom, as Jen Ashwarya mentioned, student groups and other opportunities that really help build those experiences in a non-academic way as well. Next slide. The other piece that we encourage you all to think about is what's important to you. Even if you share a major with a classmate, which you obviously will, and you have knowledge of other students that are doing things within their programs, we really encourage our students to think about what's important to you and really what is going to help you advance in the career path that you've chosen. Even if you have the same major as someone else, let's say you're both studying communications or you're both studying physics, your career paths could be very dramatically different depending on your personal interests and the goals that you have set for yourself. So we encourage you to think about what's important to you and the choices that will help you advance in the ways that make the most sense for the career goals that you have set for yourself. Some of those things might be very common, and you might find yourself in situations or environments with a lot of common friends or classmates, but you also might find yourself going off on a different path and choosing other courses or other extra engagement opportunities that really fit you best based on your interests. So again, really think about your path personally and what makes sense for you. And we encourage you to make choices here on campus that really match up with those choices that you're making for yourself. Next slide. A big thing that we talk about in terms of student engagement and really is across our campus and across all of our various colleges are student groups. We heard Ashwarya and Jen mention a number of the student groups that they're a part of. We encourage you all to investigate the hundreds of student groups that we have. Some of them are based around your major. Again, we heard that from Ashwarya. Again, some engineering or computer science-based programs, same from Jen. Some of those might be based on other interests that you have. Maybe it's a cultural interest that you have. Maybe you're very interested in exploring, foods. Maybe you're interested in movies or music, sports. A lot of different opportunities out there that exist. And again, we have student groups for pretty much every interest that our students have. And so again, really encouraging you all to think about what, again, you're interested in and really what makes you the full person that you are. While it is feasible that you might focus specifically on your career goals and specifically on your academics and your major, we know that that's not all of your interests. We know that you're not singularly focused on, again, your academics, and that you very likely have interests that extend well beyond that. And we encourage you to think about those things as well. We want you to think about leadership development. Again, opportunities, as Ashwarya and Jen mentioned again, opportunities to lead a student group, perhaps, opportunities to become a teaching assistant. Ashwarya mentioned that. But again, wonderful opportunities to demonstrate these leadership skills that you all can build and develop here on campus and cultivate through some of these wonderful, wonderful student engagement experiences. We really encourage you to look broadly across our campus. Again, individual colleges have wonderful opportunities, but also the campus at large has great opportunities for you to meet new people, to engage, to build transferable skills, and to really better yourself as a person and as a professional. All right, next slide. The last thing I want to talk about is just the variety that we have here in student life and student engagement. Again, we certainly have wonderful opportunities through student groups and these opportunities to get involved. But again, experiential learning, internships, on-campus jobs, as were mentioned. Go for athletics. Again, if you're interested in sports, either as a fan or as a participant, we encourage you to think about that as well. But overall, we want you all to have a lot of fun, to grow your experiences here, to develop, and certainly leave the University of Minnesota as better professionals, better students, and better people. So thank you all very, very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Ben. And now we want to go ahead and hear about some of the opportunities that you can join directly through our Office of International Student Scholar Services. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it to our colleagues from ISSS.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. My name is Beth Eisensee. I'm an Associate Director at International Student and Scholar Services. I use she, her pronouns, and I am one of the people that you will interact with when you come to the University of Minnesota. Our office has the honor and the privilege of serving international students at the all international students at the University of Minnesota. We will support you through your whole journey while being a University of Minnesota student. And on behalf of my office, I want to say how excited we are to be welcoming you to our Global Gopher community. Our vision actually is to have an inclusive and engaged international learning community. And so today I'm going to share 3 ways that you can connect right away when you arrive on campus. So next slide, please. The very first week of school, we will be inviting you to Small World Coffee Hour. It is one of our most popular programs, and it's a fantastic way to meet other globally minded students from all around the world, both students who are from the US and international students. We typically have over 100 students that come together every other Friday at our Recreation and Wellness Center. Students share a cup of tea or coffee. We sample foods from around the world, and students will participate in games and activities like badminton, global trivia, esports, just a really fun way to de-stress after a really busy week. But it's also a chance for you to meet other students at the University of Minnesota. So that's one of the things that we'll invite you to right away so that you can start to get connected. The next thing that you'll learn about right away when you come to the University of Minnesota is that we'll share with you about our International Student Leadership Retreat. And right away in September, we'll have this leadership retreat for undergraduate students. And at that time, it's a small group, and you during the retreat, you'll learn to use your strengths and embrace your identities and learn how to become an effective and inclusive leader. You'll leave the leadership retreat having an idea of your own personal leadership philosophy, what your goals are, and what are the strategies you can use to effectively work with very diverse teams. The third way you can get engaged with us right away is we have our Global Gopher Caucuses. This is actually something we'll invite you to. Even today, you can start the process, but we'll remind you of it over the summer. And then, of course, you can join these groups in the fall. So all of our students have very unique identities that add to the vibrancy of our university community. And so if you see yourself in one of these identities, you can go ahead and scan this QR code, say what space that you'd be interested in joining, and we will connect you with current students who also hold this identity. And you can learn to connect with each other, see what opportunities you have, and just really start to build that community. So again, if you are a part of any of these identity groups, please go ahead and scan the QR code. We'll get the information from you, and we'll have a current student reach out to you and start to connect you with some of the questions you may have or the resources you'd like to know about on campus. And the last thing I want to leave you with is it's just a great next step, just to start to become familiar with what's going on on campus, is to join our ISS Instagram page. There's a QR code there, or you can just go to at issumn.edu. And by joining our Instagram feed, you can start to see what opportunities might be available to you. But I'm really excited to welcome you on behalf of our office, and I know it's a very big step for you as you're transitioning, finalizing your high school experience or your other college experience and planning to come to the University of Minnesota. So very proud of you and all of you're doing, and hope to see you here and and see your leadership emerge at the University of Minnesota. And I'll pass it back to the missions team.
Thank you so much, Beth, for that valuable information. And everyone, I hope you found this information helpful. We now want to cover a little bit from the admissions team and share kind of what the remainder of the admissions process might look like over the next few weeks and months. So we are going to cover some next steps, and I'm going to pass it over to Susan to share a little bit about that process. So.
Yes. Okay. So into everyone's kind of favorite discussion of deadlines. And before we get started on that, I just wanted to remind everyone, please, if you have any lingering questions from anything that we've chatted about today here during the presentation, please feel free to use that Q&A function. And we'll go ahead and get those questions answered for you. So into next steps and deadlines, the deadline to confirm your enrollment will be May 1st. So you can do that within your App Tracker portal. And then the deadline to apply for housing will be May 15th for that guaranteed housing for freshmen. You can apply for housing before you have confirmed your enrollment. So those are two separate processes. So do keep that in mind. And then the deadline generally to submit your I-20 request and apply for your visa will be sometime between May and August. So these are all things to keep really in mind as far as keeping on track for your admission, for your enrollment, and your eventual arrival here on campus. Go ahead and we'll talk about now kind of what you need to do after May. So we do have several different orientation dates throughout June, July, August, and September. You can enroll for those throughout. You'll receive a lot of emails about how to do that. And then we will require some final official test scores and your secondary documents once you do eventually graduate from high school, if you have not already done so. So we will require those to be submitted as well. And then just a quick reminder that we do expect you to arrive at least 2 days prior to orientation. Those will happen on campus, so keep that in mind as far as thinking about timelines and arrival. And then we do also like to mention participating in orientation and welcome week activities is really beneficial, especially for international students in that transition from high school to college life, but also from life internationally to life in the United States. And then I know lots of people always have questions about our I-20 needs and that process as well. So we'd like to list that out for everyone. And so you will, once you confirm your enrollment, you will receive an email from our ISSS team about how to go through their My ISSS portal and request your I-20. So you'll go into that portal and upload all of the required forms and documents, things like your financials and your passport details. Those requests are generally taken care of within 2 weeks. Please make sure that you are checking your email because most of the communications we send from you in admissions and ISSS will go to your email. Okay, so I do recommend checking that at least once or twice a week, if not more. I always like to plug that little reminder in for everyone. Please do make sure to check your email. And then once you receive your I-20, you can go ahead and you'll receive instructions on how to apply for your visa. So that's some general information there. And then I'll go ahead and hand it on over to Dane to wrap us up with some of our upcoming events, as well as some in-person opportunities that we are doing throughout different countries.
Yeah, thanks, Susan. And thanks again for all the speakers that have connected with us and shared so much valuable information. Now's the time to start thinking of more questions that you might have, whether they're admission questions, questions for our colleagues in ISSS, or any of our presenters. Feel free to ask those questions in the Q&A. I also want to mention, for those of you who might be joining us that are not applying for an F1 visa, that might be on an L2 or an H4, or you might be a U.S. citizen who's living outside the U.S., please also reach out to us if you have questions about those statuses and how those impact things. We can connect you to folks in One Stop if you have questions about FAFSA and some other things as well. So I want to share a couple of things coming up over the next few months for our Global Gopher Experiences. Fourth Wednesday of every month at this time, we'll have sessions to connect you with. In April, the main focus is going to be connecting you with a current student panel and a couple of alumni as well. So you'll actually be able to hear a little bit less from admissions folks and other offices, but like today, hearing from our amazing students who talked about their internship and career services. We'll have more international students to share their stories. In May, we'll talk a lot about orientation, housing, student wellness programming, and then June 24th will be a great pre-departure planning for those who have confirmed enrollment for this fall. But we also have some great things coming to you. So this weekend, I'll be in Chengdu and Shenzhen here in China to do in-person events hosted by the University of Minnesota Twin Cities. I'll also have some amazing Gopher alumni joining me for those events. There is still room, so you can register for those. And then later in April, I'll be back in China, in Beijing and Shanghai. Susan is going to be in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam in April. And then also, we have some unique events that we're partnering with some other research universities like University of Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, and a few other universities in Delhi, Mumbai, and Bangalore. And then I'll also be available in Hyderabad, India to meet with students one-on-one. So reach out to us if you have any questions or if you're interested. In the future, we hope to be in other cities around the world, but for the next 5 or 6 weeks, this is where we're going to be, and happy to connect with you there. You can always reach out to admissions@umn.edu if you want to get connected to one of these events as well. And check your email, because if you live in any of these countries, chances are you're getting multiple emails from us to invite you to these events. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Lorenzo to lead us through any Q&A. Thanks.
Right. Thank you, Dane. Yeah, so now would be the time to ask your questions. We really want you to we don't want you to leave the webinar without, any information that you're looking for. So please feel free to drop any questions in the Q&A, um, and let us know how we can help you. And if you think of anything else later, you can always email us at the email here on your screen. And we'd be happy to connect you with other resources or just help you as best as we can. See some questions coming in. We got one about the Career Development Center, or sorry, did someone
Yeah,
unmute?
can I
Susan?
answer that one out
Oh,
loud?
Jane? All right, good. Yeah,
Yeah.
please.
The question was regarding the Career Development Centers, their staff specifically for international students in each college. So at UMN Twin Cities, like I mentioned, I do a very specific role here, supporting our undergraduate international students' career development. But we've made a group of representatives from the colleges that meet a few times a year. So to answer this in a way, I would say that staff are trained to support international students' career development, and we do this kind of through a network that meets periodically to make sure that we are providing the best possible career support for international students who might have some more unique experiences than US students in a way, working with work authorization or finding global career pathways. So we do have that in mind.
All right, thank you, Jamie, for that. Any other questions that we can answer for you at this time? And if not, that's totally fine. Of course, again, sometimes, you think about other things that you want to ask, so you can email us here. There you go. Where can I find a recording of this session? These sessions will be posted on our ISSS website. There's a lot of great information there as well. So you'll find it there soon, as well as kind of our previous virtual Global Gopher experience. So great question. Thank you for asking that. And maybe a minute or two more for some questions. Let's see. I have a question about internship and job opportunities. Is there, yeah, Jane, sorry to put you on the spot so much, but I don't
Yeah,
know if you'd
and
like
I
to answer that one.
also Mary Beth, I see, is also on this call. So if there's anything we need to mention regarding work authorization, I would be interested in that too. Also, I guess, could I call in Jen? Because Jen did an internship as a software engineering internship. Um, it is not what am I trying to say? It takes a lot of effort to get an internship, but I think it's important to reflect on what everyone in this session talked about. So Ben talked about like student engagement, getting involved, research can help you build those skills that make you a prepared candidate to get an internship. So I think if you are interested in getting internships, the important thing to think about is hearing all of these resources and advice now will like get you extra prepared to secure those opportunities. Jen, do you want to talk to us really quick about getting your internship and I think about your networking skills as well?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Jane. So, uh, I noticed like Justin Jin, you also major in computer science. So from my experience, I got my first internship based on just apply on LinkedIn. It's a startup in Minneapolis. So just have an interview and passed it. Like fortunately, I got it. And during that summer internship process, I just building my connection, like networking with people. And uh, for my second internship, I basically just based on connection, I talk with someone like some, and that people just introduced me to another boss. I just got another internship. So that's a really important part. And also you mentioned relate to the field of Minnesota. Since in Minnesota we have a bunch of medical, healthcare, retail, and insurance companies. So if you want to work in Minnesota, you can do some research or have some project experience mainly related to those fields. Yeah, that's my suggestion.
Yeah, and if I may, I'm going to chime in too. One of the things that makes our location unique, and even very different from some of the other research universities that you might have been applied to or been admitted, is that we're in such a dynamic, vibrant, multiple cities. So the twin cities of St. Paul and Minneapolis, which means the startup scene, the venture capital scene, and the Fortune 500 scene is really strong. There's lots of opportunities, and you get free public transportation in a US city that actually has really good public transportation. So other universities might claim some really great internships, but you might have to drive in your own car 30 minutes away for those internships. Versus here, the light rail or the busing system is fantastic. And so there's definitely an advantage to being in the Twin Cities when it comes to those opportunities for internships and research, because not everybody can afford to get a car or has the opportunity for that. And so being in a community that is not as dependent on cars as other parts of the US is just fantastic. So I definitely wanted to highlight that.
Thank you. And Jane, you mentioned work authorization. And so I wanted to pop in here. My name is Mary Beth Polk, and I advise international students on F1 visas in the International Student and Scholar Services Office. So if you are coming to the United States on an F1 visa, anytime you have a work opportunity that's off campus, definitely you want to come talk to ISSS. In order to work off campus, you will need work authorization to be able to do that. And so for international students, you will utilize what's called curricular practical training or CPT. And this allows you to work or do an internship in a job that's related to your major. But one thing to think about as a new student is that the federal immigration regulations require that you complete 2 semesters or 1 academic year before you're eligible to work off campus. So for you, if you're coming to UMN, you've never been in the US before, you would only be able to start an internship during your like first summer after you've completed your first year. And so since Jane brought that up, I just wanted to mention it. If you have specific questions about CPT, we do have resources on our website about that, or you can meet with an ISSS advisor and we'd be absolutely happy to meet with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that information. I see My colleagues are very busy answering other questions on Q&A, so thank you for that as well. I saw some questions come in about scholarships as well. We are happy to chat with you about that individually. So if you'd like to kind of email us at admissions@umn.edu, we can connect further on those opportunities as well. Seeing a question come in about scholarships that is being answered, so great. The policy here, scholarships will be, for students that qualify, usually by the end of March, you will be notified. So again, if you have any questions about that specifically, definitely email us directly.
And Ben, I think Susan might have answered the question. If you want to talk about ABET accreditation, Ben, it looks like you might be able to jump in with that because there was a student had a specific accreditation question. I don't know if you wanted to maybe
Yeah,
answer that live as
I
well.
can provide just a little bit of basic information that's been shared with us in the college proper here from our Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering. There was a decision made for our department or for our computer engineering major that they would no longer seek accreditation by the ABET organization that accredits engineering programs. That decision was not made lightly. They did a lot of research. They had a lot of conversations with employers as well as our students and our faculty. They looked at peer institutions as well to basically make that decision. The ABET accreditation process, as you might imagine and even hope, is a very rigorous process that requires a lot of information, a lot of details to receive that accreditation. So it is a very impressive thing to have as a part of your program. But what our department discovered after many of these conversations, especially those with employers, is that it really wasn't a deciding factor in those processes for hiring future computer engineers. The link that was provided and the response is a great one. I would definitely encourage you to read the department's response. They explain a lot of these things in detail with their response. But again, in general, just to hopefully ease minds, this should not be a deciding factor in terms of whether or not you may receive a job or not if you were, applying with candidates who do have that ABET accreditation. It is more important in other fields, but for computer engineering, it was decided that it was not important enough for the university to continue to pursue that. So,
Thanks so much, Ben, for that info. I do see a final question about visiting the disability center in advance. Not quite sure. I mean, if you're meaning kind of visiting before kind of starting classes or that, but I think the best way to get the information would be to connect directly. So if you'd like to send us an email, we're happy to refer you to Disability Center for more resources and information as well. Any final questions as we kind of close out the webinar. While you're typing those final questions, we do want to say thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be with us, to choose to learn more about the University of Minnesota Twin Cities. I want to thank our guest presenters as well and guest speakers for your valuable time and information. So we truly do appreciate you. Congratulations again to all of you students. Of course, we really hope to see you in August and September here in the fall coming up. We hope that you think the University of Minnesota will be a great fit for you. And again, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. This is a time to ask us over the next few weeks and months. We want you to make the best decision. So definitely feel free to connect with us. That's what we're here for. So I don't see any more questions coming in. So again, thank you so much and have a great rest of your day wherever you are in the world. Truly appreciate you joining us and congratulations again on your admission.